Lots of your colleagues are saying he's going to find another seat, and this time he must be allowed back in.
But the reality is...
What is your view that that is right or wrong?
I don't know. Are people searching for a superhero or something? Because there aren't any. There's none coming. It's us.
I'm the first in my bloodline to hear a sequence of words like that. If you're saying there's no one coming to save us, that is the worst advertisement you could pitch for anyone who is currently in government. We're all going to die here at the hands of Sir Keir Rodney Starmer.
I'm as real as a real can get. What you see?
Buongiorno freaks and geeks, welcome back to the channel. So the countdown has definitely begun. How long will Keir Starmer remain Prime Minister of this country? And who will be the brave Labour soldiers who will dislodge this tick from number 10 Downing Street? In case you haven't noticed, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I completely detest Keir Starmer and I cannot wait until he disappears from public life for good. At this point, I'm not even worried about the politics. I've put all my chips in on this ongoing Westminster drama. So today we're going to look at a segment from a video on the Channel 4 News YouTube page titled "Over 60 Labour MPs have now called for the PM to resign." And maybe by the time this video is released, it will be over 70. I don't know. I can only dream though. So let's get straight into that video, but before we do, please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and tell me down below, who do you think will be the next Prime Minister? Because it's definitely going to happen before the end of the year.
Well, earlier I spoke to Steve Reed, who's the Secretary for Housing, Communities and Local Government, a close ally of Keir Starmer. I asked him, with so many Labour MPs now openly calling for the Prime Minister to set a timetable to go, isn't the game up?
It definitely is. And I just love how another Keir Starmer bootlicker has been sent out to take metaphorical bullets for him. Ah, what a time to be alive.
Well, I think that means that nearly 90% of us haven't. And that's a vast majority. We were elected less than 2 years ago to change this country.
Okay, I need to dispel this myth once and for all. You wasn't elected 2 years ago to bring change to the country. The Labour Party didn't give anyone any hope or anything to vote for. 2 years ago, people voted against the Tory party because there was no other viable options apart from Blue Labour, led by Sir Keir Rodney Starmer. So just miss me with this, oh, we got a job to do. People elected us 2 years ago. They trusted us. Trusted you with what? Like, all of your progressive policies were shredded before you even got to the general election in 2024. So I'm not sure what you believe people voted for if you had no identifiable policies. And number two, of course, only a sliver of the Labour MP membership have come out. They've seen how much of a totalitarian Keir Starmer is. They're probably too scared to do it. The only people that were brave enough to call for his resignation are the people ostensibly on the left of the Labour Party. Everyone else who may be on the right of the Labour Party are too scared. They got no backbone.
If the lesson we learn from the Conservatives is that you doom scroll through your leaders and somehow that's going to improve things for the country or for the party politically, then we're learning the wrong thing.
Yeah, but again, you're being very stupid. The Tories didn't have any policies either. They were shuffling through more leaders than I do pairs of socks because none of them had any idea what they were doing. And their major downfall was the whole subject matter of Brexit. They had no idea what to do with Brexit. And then they had the COVID pandemic to deal with. Again, they had no idea what they were doing. So unless you're saying we are just as empty of a vessel as the Tory party, we have no policies, maybe we shouldn't be shuffling through all of our leaders, then yeah, admit that.
But since the
We can't
speech
go there.
this morning, more and more of your colleagues have issued statements. They've been texting journalists. The word apparently doing the rounds was unimpressive after the speech.
He should never have been leader. And again, he's always been unimpressive. It's just that he's bumbled his way to the premiership, all because of Morgan McSweeney having the shrewd idea to convince the Labour membership at that time that he was the rightful successor to Corbyn, and then soon as he was elected, throw all of those progressive policies in the bin. But even when he was doing the leadership campaign trail, he wasn't impressive then.
I completely understand that many of my colleagues are feeling very frustrated and angry at the scale of the results that we saw just last Thursday. But I thought the Prime Minister today came out and gave a speech where he spoke from the heart in a way that was very, very personal, talking about the experience of his brother and his sister and the broken status quo that held them back and has held back millions of people
We have heard
across
it all
this
before from him
country.
before.
Exactly, who cares? Like, him going as personal as a robot can doesn't change that he hasn't implemented any policies that has tackled what he is proposing, held his family back. And I don't even know the personal details of his family, but as far as I'm aware, he hasn't implemented any policies, and he could if he really wanted to. You've got a massive majority in the House of Commons. If your policies were any good, they could speed run through the House of Commons. You could do so many different things if you really wanted to, but you've got no imagination, you've got no appetite, and you've got no charisma. So yeah, missed all of us with that dribble.
That is what is driving the Prime Minister. And he talked about the urgency with which we're going to act on big industries like British Steel and how we can nationalise that to intervene where support is required, to protect jobs and communities.
Okay, it doesn't sound like they're definitely going to do it. I thought it was a foregone conclusion, but it sounds like he wants to do it. And protecting jobs in one area of the country doesn't really bring systemic change. Like we saw previous governments bring sections of the economy under public ownership, and it didn't benefit the rest of the working class in this country. So you can say that, but again, you're showing us that you have no imagination. Think putting up a symbolic win, or it's not even a win yet, but a symbolic proposal of bringing British Steel into public ownership and nationalising it is going to pacify all of the calls for you to actually just leave the job, like resign, go away, and no one hears from you again. And just a word on the British Steel issue. The only reason it's come back into British ownership is because the Chinese company that owned it was going to close the furnaces there. They were like, yeah, this isn't actually worth it for us anymore, so we're out. That's the only reason they gripped control of British Steel. So it's so exhausting that all of this needs to be explained over and over again. And for you to say what has happened to the Prime Minister's brother and sister is what drives him, if that's how he shows he's driven to do something, I don't want to see what would happen if he had zero motivation.
A reset with the European Union, a very quick way actually to help boost the economy and put more money in people's pockets. But he spoke about other things as well. He talked about the Pride in Place programme that I'm responsible for, and how we can expand that and put more resources and power directly into people's hands in their own communities, so they can take decisions about how they put hope back into their towns where that has been taken away for decades.
Why didn't he do that in the last 2 years? Why is he waiting for a massive annihilation at the local election to say, oh, we can actually do this, and why didn't you do it before? Why does it seem the UK publics had to twist your arm behind your back and strongly encourage you to get off your hands and do something of substance. Why do you have to wait until now? You absolute imbeciles.
But if this is, you know, looking like a stitch up to get Andy Burnham back in, do you think he should be now allowed back into Parliament by the NEC to stand?
Well, Andy Burnham's not eligible to stand for leader of the Labour Party because he's not a member of Parliament, and that's a matter of his own choosing.
No, to stand for Parliament.
He chose to leave being an MP to be mayor
should
of
he be allowed
Manchester.
You can change your mind, Dan.
Stand as an MP.
Well, he's doing a great job as the mayor of Manchester.
But what's the answer? Should Andy Burnham be allowed back
was
or
an
not?
MP. He was in here when I was an MP,
Yes.
and he chose to leave and be mayor of Manchester.
Jesus, they hate Andy Burnham because when Boris Johnson left being an MP to go and be mayor of London, all of his Conservative colleagues welcomed him back. So then he could take the mantle from David Cameron. Obviously, he had to wait a couple of turns, obviously to Theresa May first. But yeah, why do you hate Andy? But like, is he that much to the left of you that you don't want him anywhere near the parliamentary Labour Party? It makes no sense. You look very suspect right now, and you should reconsider your position.
Lisa Nandy has said she wants to see him back. Lucy Powell wants
I'd like to see him back.
Lots of your colleagues want to see him back in Parliament.
Well, I think he's a great colleague. I work with him very closely. I'm the local government secretary. He's the leader, you know, the mayor of Greater
Do you
Manchester.
want to see him back in Parliament? Or
Eventually,
not?
yes, I do. Yes, I do, because I think he's got a lot to offer.
But you mean
this
after
party.
2028, don't you?
Well, I
They're
think he's-
talking about now, in the next couple of months.
Well, he's got a job to do as mayor of Manchester. I mean, the reason it goes to the NEC is because if he stood down, there would need to be a by-election for the mayor of Greater Manchester at a great public expense.
What are you talking about? Keir Starmer remaining in place right now is at great public expense. You donut. Like, what? Who cares? Andy Burnham should leave right now, trigger a by-election, let them sort out themselves in Greater Manchester, go and bump off a Labour MP in the safest Labour seat you can find. I don't know how many of those are left in the country, but the safest Labour seat you can find, and swan back in to the House of Commons, so you can pick up the baton when Keir Starmer inevitably has to resign, because he no longer has Morgan McSweeney pulling the strings or propping him up, or any other analogy you can think of for someone basically being a puppet master.
Lots of your colleagues are saying he's going to find another seat, and this time he must be allowed back in.
But the reality is...
Is your view that that is right or wrong?
I don't know. Are people searching for a superhero or something? Because there aren't any. There's none coming. It's us.
I'm the first in my bloodline to hear a sequence of words like that. If you're saying there's no one coming to save us, that is the worst advertisement you could pitch for anyone who is currently in government. We're all going to die here at the hands of Sir Keir Rodney Starmer.
Us collectively in Cabinet with the Prime Minister have to find the answers to the questions the British public are posing to us. We'll do it by standing together, listening to what the public have said and responding in practical terms, building more homes, cutting NHS waiting lists, putting more money in people's pockets. That is what the vast majority of Labour MPs want to focus on today.
So what did you think of Angela Rayner's speech today? Do you
Well,
think she's trying to bring down Keir Starmer?
I didn't hear her speech because I've been doing broadcast, but I read the article that she put in the papers over the weekend, and what I saw Angela pointing to was a lot of really good work this government is already engaged in.
What do you mean you're engaging in this work? Are you doing it or not? Like, that's the thing. Like, I have to mention this again. You have an unbelievable majority in the House of Commons. What do you mean you're engaged? You should be doing stuff. Like, you're having meetings about meetings about meetings, and then maybe you'll come up with some policies. No, you should be doing policies right now. And then people can choose to engage with what you're saying or not. And then they can give you a a response as to whether these policies are satisfactory or not. But you're not putting any policies forward. Like you just said, we want to build more homes, but are they council homes? Or are you just going to say they're affordable homes, which means it's only affordable to middle class people and above? So build more homes, cut down NHS waiting lists. How are you going to do that? Oh, we're going to throw open the private sector, privatise more of the NHS. That is not good in the long run. And then you want to put more money in people's pockets. Whose pockets? Just the rich by cutting their taxes? Or are you talking about working class people? Because all of that is in the detail. You just putting out these phrases, these slogans doesn't mean anything to anyone that is struggling right now. And you've had 2 years to even show that you've got a semblance of a plan, and you've done none of that.
She had her own policy programme and she wants Andy Burnham back.
Well, she was
That's not exactly
saying
supported,
we need
is
to
it?
build more council homes. Last year, we built more council homes in 1 year than we've built in any year for 35 years since records began.
Look, isn't it a time for candour now? Look, everybody
I was
in this
pretty candid.
place
I was pointing to something that we've actually done.
what's going on, you know, and that Angela Rayner is thinking about standing, that Andy Burnham would like to come back, that Wes Streeting is probably thinking about standing as well. And you've got to start addressing these questions
do you know
head
what?
on, haven't you? Rather than
I know there are a lot
talking
of people,
about process and
I know there are a lot of
NEC rules
people who have ambition, and there's nothing wrong with ambition in politics as in any other walk.
What are you talking about? You clearly have no ambition yourself, because he's asking you, what have you done? Not what are you talking about doing? What have you done? All you've done right now is just give us bluster and blurbs, and you're not even good at it. Like Steve Reed, Secretary for Housing, Communities and Local Government. Like, what are you doing? This is like such a waste of everyone's time. You need to go. You need to go as well. Not just the prime. You need to leave. Go away.
But right now, we cannot afford to talk to ourselves for months in the middle of a security crisis globally, an economic crisis which is affecting our country too. We can't just let the bond markets go wild for the next 4 months.
Why are you letting the bond markets dictate how you act as a government? Gosh. Exactly. If you're saying the bond markets actually dictate everything we do, as Diane Abbott explained, all you MPs can just go home. You're not needed. We're going to let made up inanimate objects and numbers in a machine dictate how we are going to behave going forward. You look ridiculous right now.
That means for inflation and mortgage rates and interest rates, we have to stand together.
Just finally, I mean, he said we want to be at the heart of Europe. How can you be at the heart of Europe if you're not in the single market or the customs union?
Oh, there's miles and miles to go before you get to those particular parameters. Like Keir was talking today about the need for a thoroughgoing youth mobility program, so that young people today can get into Europe and get the opportunities I had. There's a big security question as well. The security, the shape of the world in terms of security has changed dramatically.
Do you mean the heart of Europe?
That is the heart of Europe.
Which is rejoining the European Union or the single market?
No, because our manifesto was crystal clear on those points.
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about, is that your ambition?
No, we've got to deliver on the manifesto that we were elected on.
No one even read the manifesto you were elected on, because like I said in the beginning of this video, people voted against the Tories. They didn't vote for anything you had going on. And again, this whole question of whether Keir Starmer wants to rejoin the EU or not doesn't matter, because he's not going to be around to implement any of that. Should we have a closer relationship with the EU? Yeah, of course. They're the closest neighbours. Why would you not want a closer relationship with them? What that looks like, who knows at this point? We've got so many issues happening domestically. We can't really start focusing on a external relationship with a supranational group of countries on the continent. I say that even though we allow America to dictate everything we do here and there. But yeah, we really need to focus on our domestic policies and domestic issues, which again, this Labour government hasn't done for the previous 2 years, because they're too busy doing consultations and talking and whatever else you can do to waste time. Maybe playing Candy Crush for the other remaining hours in the day when they're supposed to be doing real work, like pushing through real You've got enough MPs to bring unbelievable systemic change to this country, just like Margaret Thatcher did in the 1980s, but you'd rather just talk about maybe changing things on the edges. Absolutely embarrassing.
Your ambition isn't to be at the heart of
Well,
Europe.
I just told you we could exports collapsed by a fifth under the previous government. We can take those barriers down and get that trade moving again.
Yeah, by rejoining the single market or getting a free trade agreement with the EU. What? Just say that if you want to do that. Come on, dude.
That is billions of pounds of investment into this country. It's jobs and money in people's pockets. Why would we not do that? We have to do it, and that's what we're going to get on and do.
Steve Reed, thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, Steve Reed, like, to be honest, I couldn't really hear a lot of what you were saying because that boot was shoved so far down your gob. Like, for you to like, again, what does Keir Starmer have on all these MPs? Like, is he their like adopted father, or does he have like compromising pictures? Like, how can you come out defending a man so bland, so without personality, so without a plan, so without any charisma, so without the popularity, that you're making an absolute fool of yourself on national news? Come on, man. We all need to do better. We all need to do better. But this massive shadow that Keir is not only casting over the Labour Party, but also this country needs to be expelled as soon as possible. Like, he needs to go. Like, because as long as he's around, we're going to be talking about him and how much of a terrible human being he is. As long as he's around, you won't be able to enact any policies or even talk about the policies you would like to enact. With Keir still around, you look like a bunch of sheep being led by a sheep. Despite having such a massive majority in the House of Commons, even despite taking away the whip from a number of ex-Labour MPs who were elected as Labour MPs at the last general election in 2024. Yeah, guys, we need a whole rethink, a reset. We just need to move past whatever the hell Starmerism was. So that's what I think. What do you think? Please put it down below. I would love to read it. If you stayed with me up to this point, I really appreciate the support. If you like audiobooks, I voice one on spotting red flags in relationships. Link in the description below. And remember, once we understand politics, we will make better choices. Please don't forget to hit the buttons for like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon. Ciao.